Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Ravens bringing you a update on the new patch which was just released on both PlayStation and Xbox Live for Black Ops 3. It's patch 1.08. Now, this patch is pretty massive and substantial in size. It's about 11 gigabytes and takes between 10 to 15 minutes to download, depending upon the connection which you have. I have a pretty decent connection, so it takes me about 10 minutes to download it. But I was honestly a little surprised with how big this patch was because so late in the cycle of the game, because the game's been out for a while now. It's coming close to 6 months, and you see them still doing so many fixes. And when I say them, I mean obviously Treyarch. You see them really working on this game, working on weapon balance so late on the game, and it shows that they're really working hard. But it does give me cause for concern that despite having 3 years of working on the game, that there's still such massive patch updates coming through. It's a little bit of a good and bad, that we're getting such huge patches. But anyway, let's get into what has actually changed, and I want to start off with the weapons. Now, when you look at the weapons, there's really only two weapon changes, which means they're pretty satisfied with all the changes which they've done before. Thankfully, there's been no shotgun weapon changes because they've been definitely maximizing the range of them shotguns. And for a change, there's no change. There's no definitely no changes on the shotgun ranges. They've not really expanded those ranges. So the changes were to the pistols. They've definitely nerfed the MR6, which honestly a lot of people say that the MR6 is very overpowered. I certainly think it's a strong weapon, but I really didn't think that it is that overpowered, to be honest with you guys. But they essentially reduced the max fire rate, which means you can't shoot the weapon as fast as you could before. It's a shame, really, but people are always going to find things to complain about. And honestly, if you keep changing and if you keep listening to people and you keep listening to people making requesting changes all the time, I think that also may end up being a bad thing. But that's just me. I know you got to give the public what they want, but if people want too many changes, they're always going to find something to complain about. But hey, that's just me, man. So the other change which they made is they increased the accuracy of the ICR1. I see a lot of people running the ICR1 these days. They don't even use a grip. I see them just using one of the reflex sights with I think a suppressor, and honestly, that weapon doesn't have too much recoil on it, and they've increased the accuracy even more, which means that's pretty crazy. Or it could be one of those things where they make this change, where they made a change on the down low, and they're just letting you know right now in the patch notes that they made the change, because they've been pretty famous for doing stuff like that all the time through this game's development life cycle. Because take a look at the Vesper. They definitely nerfed that weapon, but only released facts that they've nerfed that weapon, especially when they increased the recoil on it in a later on patch. But everyone knew that the weapon definitely acted differently much before it was released, that it was changed in the patch notes. Now, the other thing which I'm going to concentrate on is honestly some of the specialist changes. And the specialist change which I want to concentrate on, and the reason why I want to concentrate on, is it because it's the Nomad. Now, I'll tell you one thing about what was fixed. There was a bug which was fixed where you use the Nomad's hive gun, and it causes people to disconnect from dedicated servers. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of people who have been watching my channel, or if you're new to my channel, please understand that the Nomad and especially the Hive is one of my favorite specialist characters to run. And honestly, it's my definitely by far my favorite specialist ability to run, along with the Purifier, which you're seeing on screen right now, which by the way is a beast. I highly recommend the Purifier and the Nomad's Hive. But I noticed that people quit all the fucking time, man. And I thought that, people were quitting because I was playing well. And I was like, damn, every time someone dies by my hive, they kept quitting. And little do I know that the reason why people were quitting is because there was a freaking, glitch in the Nomad's hive, which was causing people to disconnect from the dedicated servers, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. I mean, for me, I'm actually a developer. I'm actually someone who's an architect architect, a software architect by by profession. So for me, I mean, you really need to muck up that code, man, for stuff like that to happen. So it's pretty surprising for me as an architect, a software architect, and a developer to see stuff like that. They also resolved an issue where if you run the Hive, you'll notice that where the sound of the HivePod would persist, if the player was killed by something other than the HivePod, which is kind of crazy again, but it is one of those glitches which you do see in software development. But anyway, those are the two things which I wanted to, address. There's a creator class changes, with some perks, and there's obviously score streak, changes here and there. But that's pretty much the two big things that caught my eye, which is obviously the Nomad and the change with the MR6 and ICR1. So hope you guys enjoyed this review of these patch notes, and see you guys in another video, guys. Take it easy.